Namaskar. Today we'll study antifungal drugs. So before that, the fungal infections, which are mostly superficial infections, and rarely they are serious, and systemic infections are very uncommon. But nowadays the incidence is increasing. The superficial mycosis or superficial infections, fungal infections, can be dermatomycosis infecting skin, hair, nail, etc. And it can be candida infection, superficial candidiasis infecting your mucous membrane of mouth, vagina, then scalp, skin. So these are superficial infections, and serious superficial infections is relatively uncommon. And systemic infections are very uncommon, but when there is decrease in immunity, like in AIDS patients and those patients taking anti-cancer drugs or immunosuppressants, and then patients undergoing organ transplantation, they need to take some immunosuppressants. And when there is increased use of antibiotics, because these antibiotics will eliminate the non-pathogenic bacteria that normally compete with fungi. So, in this way, fungal infections occurs, and this can be primary or secondary. So, secondary mostly when caused by other regions. So, for example, if we take antibiotics and then that results in fungal infection, that is secondary. So the fungal cell, if we see the fungal cell, the outer cell wall is there and the inside cell membrane is there. You can see the cell wall consisting of mannoprotein, beta-1,6-glucan, beta-1,3-glucan, chitin. So these are all consisting of the fungal cell wall. Then inside that there is fungal cell membrane. The ergosterol is the essential constituent of cell membrane. Then it is eukaryotic, so it has a defined nucleus, so nucleic acid is there, and microtubules is another target here, and these microtubules help in spindle formation, so cell division occurs, mitosis occurs. So the mitosis is another target. So we have drugs, antifungal drugs, so acting on cell wall, acting on cell membrane, inhibiting nucleic acid biosynthesis, and affecting cell division or mitosis by targeting microtubules. So if you see, first let us discuss the cell wall. And fungal cell wall, as you know, we have echinocandins which inhibit beta-1,3-glucan synthesis, and the drugs like caspofungin, micafungin, anidulafungin, and these are highly protein bound, 97% protein bound, and they are mostly used against candidiasis and aspergillus infections. And but it has side effects like sensation of warmth, flushing, and rashes. Now we'll discuss the fungal cell membrane, and the fungal cell membrane is essentially consisting of phospholipids and ergosterol. So ergosterol is the target, and ergosterol is synthesized from squalene. Squalene is synthesized from acetyl coenzyme A. So the ergosterol biosynthesis can be targeted, and there are pollen antibiotics which directly bind with ergosterol. So when they bind with ergosterol, they form pores here. So because of formation of pores, there will be leakage, there will be a impairment of the cell membrane function. So the cell membrane function is disrupted by pollen antibiotics like amphotericin B and nystatin. So if you see the ergosterol biosynthesis, squalene is synthesized from acetyl coenzyme A, and then squalene is converted to lanosterol, then to zymosterol, phacosterol, episterol, and finally ergosterol. And in two steps, one squalene to squalene epoxide by the enzyme squalene epoxidase. This is one target, squalene epoxidase enzyme. And then lanosterol C14 Demethylase is another target which converts lanosterol to 4,4-dimethyl cholesta 8,14,24 trienol. So the drugs like allyl amines like terbinafine, they inhibit squalene epoxidase, and azoles, which can be triazoles and imidazoles, they inhibit lanosterol C14 demethylase. So these two group of drugs inhibit ergosterol biosynthesis and act on the cell membrane. So we have two group of drugs in fungal cell membrane, and amphotericin B and nystatin, they are highly toxic. They produce nephrotoxicity, anemia, thrombocytopenia, and nystatin, because of its toxicity, it is mostly used topically only. And these drugs can be used against oropharyngeal candidiasis, cutaneous candidiasis, histoplasmosis, blastomycosis, and these drugs again poorly absorbed from GIT. So oral administration is effective against intestinal fungal infections. Otherwise, amphotericin B can also be given intravenously and topically, but intramuscularly it is highly painful, amphotericin B. Then ergosterol biosynthesis inhibitors, by inhibiting squalene epoxidase, allyl amines like terbinafine, very well tolerated. Side effects like gastrointestinal upset and little bit hepatotoxicity. They increase the liver enzymes that can also be there. They increase the liver enzymes, and they can be used against onychomycosis, the nail infections, and tinea or ringworm infections. Then we have the azoles, which inhibit lanosterol C14 demethylase, and azoles can be of two types, imidazoles and triazoles. And imidazoles and triazoles can again be divided into topical and systemic. Topical imidazoles are miconazole, clotrimazole, and systemic imidazoles like ketoconazole. Ketoconazole can also be used topically. So ketoconazole can be used both systemically and topically. Then triazoles topically used are torconazole, and used systemically. Systemically used triazoles are fluconazole, voriconazole, itraconazole, etc. And if we compare the triazoles and imidazoles, the triazoles have few side effects as compared to imidazoles. They have better absorption, they show better distribution in tissues, and they have few drug interactions as compared to imidazoles. Then another group of drug is your 5-flucytosine, and 5-flucytosine is a prodrug which is converted to 5-fluorouracil by cytosine deaminase, and this 5-fluorouracil is converted to 5-fluorodeoxyuridine monophosphate, which inhibits thymidylate synthetase. So this thymidylate synthetase is required for the conversion of deoxyuridine monophosphate to deoxythymidine monophosphate. So by inhibiting thymidylate synthetase, DNA synthesis can be inhibited. Similarly, 5-fluorouracil is also converted to 5-fluorouridine triphosphate, which inhibits the RNA synthesis. But the drawback with this is they produce bone marrow suppression, and because of the bone marrow suppression, there will be decreased number of blood cells, and that will lead to leukopenia, thrombocytopenia, anemia, and basically they are used used against candidiasis. So it inhibits the DNA synthesis. Then we have griseofulvin, and griseofulvin inhibits the cell division or mitosis, and hence fungal growth is inhibited. And microtubule, as we know, is required for spindle formation, and spindle that separates the chromosomes during the metaphase of mitosis. And one cell, the parent cell, is divided into two daughter cells. So this separation of chromosomes requires spindle, and spindle formation occurs from microtubules. Microtubules are the polymerized form of tubulin. So griseofulvin binds to these polymerized microtubules and inhibits spindle formation, so inhibit mitosis or cell division, and hence inhibits fungal growth. And these are again used against tinea or ringworm infections and nail infections, onychomycosis. And side effects of griseofulvin are photosensitivity, peripheral neuritis, hepatotoxicity. So these are all these drugs, and let us discuss the uses of azoles, imidazoles, and triazoles. They are mostly used against non-meningeal fungal diseases like histoplasmosis, blastomycosis, and drug of choice is ketoconazole. Chronic mucocutaneous candidiasis, drug of choice again is ketoconazole. Oral and esophageal candidiasis in AIDS, drug of choice is your fluconazole. Tinea or ringworm infections, mostly topically used miconazole and clotrimazole. Griseofulvin resistant ringworm infections or tinea infections, drug of choice is ketoconazole. And ketoconazole is the drug which inhibits cytochrome P450 group of enzymes. So ketoconazole mostly shows drug interactions with warfarin. So when it is used with warfarin, it inhibits the metabolism of warfarin, and the warfarin action will be increased because metabolism is decreased. So anticoagulant action is increased. And then ketoconazole, when used with quinidine, torphinadine, they inhibit the metabolism of quinidine or torphinadine, and that these are antiarrhythmic drugs. This will lead to fatal ventricular fibrillation and arrhythmia. So ketoconazole is associated with major drug interactions, and also side effects like gynecomastia and irregular menstrual cycles. Some allergic reactions are also associated with ketoconazole. So this is all about the antifungal drugs. So we have mostly this 6 group of antifungal drugs, and like echinocandins, foliin antibiotics, azoles, allyl amines, and 5-flucytosine, and griseofulvin. Besides these, there can also be some topical antifungal agents like salicylic acid, benzoic acid, tolnaftate. All these some antifungal drugs are also there. This is all about antifungal drugs. Thank you.